So it's been a while, but finally here I have for you part 2 of how to draw guns. I mean, how to design a gun, I guess, whatever. If for some reason you haven't watched part 1, go watch that first, or not, do whatever you want. In the last video we saw the basics on how to construct a gun, but in this video I'm gonna teach you how to design your own, like, fantasy, sci-fi, whatever gun you want. Before anything, you need to start making some decisions about what kind of gun you want to make. First of all, what kind of gun is it? Is it a handgun, a shotgun? Then you gotta choose an aesthetic. Usually the most common are fantasy, sci-fi, and steampunk, but there are like way more than that. Aesthetics can be anything from different cultures to objects to nature to random things. You just need an idea to start with and write down everything you know about it. You could, for example, make a gun based on Japanese culture, or a gun based on flowers or skulls, or even a gun based on random stuff like fish or scissors. You could mix and match them together. Your imagination is the limit, as they say. You also have to decide what your gun is powered by, bullets or something else. Maybe a crystal, some sort of liquid, maybe it needs a phone-like charger to work. And what releases from it? Magic, lightning, fireballs, water, gumballs, anything, I don't know. If you want, you can also ask the big questions. What world is this gun from? Who is this gun from? Who designed the gun? That last one may be a bit redundant, but the more you can ask and answer this kind of questions, the easier it would be to come up with something. Just make sure you decide what you want to do early on, or you'll be lost in the possibilities. I drew this shotgun and sorta drew this handgun for this character a while back. These guns suck. I barely gave it any thought at all. Same thing with the background, but anyways. So for this video I'll be redrawing these guns. This is more of an idea for a character I had for one of my stories. She's from a species I basically invented. So her guns should be kinda representative of her and her culture, but mostly her culture, basically something elegant but not too fancy, something steampunk-like also. I also thought about her culture having some Greek influences. I also decided that this gun is charged with a liquid metal that can be found on these other islands, and it hardens when put on high velocity, becoming liquid again after it shoots the target. The tubes the liquid is put on allows in 3 charges. I don't know, I just decided that, which means my revolver can shoot 18 shots before needing recharge. Does this last part matter for the overall design? Probably not. Did I only think of all this after I already designed the gun? Yes. Now that you have an idea of what you want, you can look up references. I recommend looking it up on Pinterest, since, you know, it's Pinterest. Look up other gun concepts, look up interesting cultural patterns, look up different keywords that relate to the gun you want to create, anything you might find useful. I just downloaded a bunch of steampunk fantasy-like guns and some Greek patterns. You can just copy some of those guns as studies just to kinda get the gist of it before starting the design. Now that you have everything, you can start to draw it. Don't think too much about it, draw whatever comes to mind. There are different ways to start. You could just start by sketching, or you could start with a silhouette, which is what I did and recommend, but do whatever you prefer. Look at your references and mix and match different elements. Sketch as many guns and ideas as you want. You can do an exercise which is basically copy 2 guns, then draw a 3rd gun which is a mix and match of the 2 guns. Some other tips I can give you is to use the big, medium, small thing, meaning have a big shape, a medium shape and a small shape, like that. The design will look more harmonious. I'm not sure if I did that exactly, I think I did, but I just saw that in another video. I'm not a concept artist, so obviously my guns aren't gonna look that good, but I think the silhouettes look good for a first try. Now you can just sketch guns till you find one you like, but what I did was, for my final silhouette, I basically mixed the parts I liked better in each gun. I decided I wanted it to be a revolver type gun, and I wanted these leaf type things in it. I wanted the spikes as aim and stuff like that. This took me a while because I didn't think it ever looked good enough, but yeah, just do it, don't worry about it being perfect. I should probably follow my advice though. After all the sketching, you can just do the line art and color it, or just render it, and whatever is the way you do stuff. I also made a handgun, but since I was already tired of making silhouettes, I just made the first idea I came up with. I think it looks good enough for my first time designing a gun. I just need to not compare myself to artists who've been drawing guns for years. Now this is where I gave up on this video 6 months ago, cause I couldn't draw this gun in perspective and was too mentally tired to find out how, so I kinda gave up and unlisted the first video in shame. But yeah, I tried again, did some more studies of other guns, tried to rotate guns I found on Pinterest, looked up at 3D models to see how the guns rotate, and then I was ready to rotate the guns I drew 6 months ago. I changed some things from the original guns, but whatever, I could try to make it 100% accurate, but I just didn't feel like it. Just like I showed in part 1, use simple shapes before starting with the details. Honestly, I always forget to do this, mostly for the handle because of its weird shape. But again, it doesn't need to be 100% accurate. For the shotgun, I also took the gun I drew before and put it in perspective like this, so it was easier to figure out the proportions and everything, but I still ended up changing stuff though. For the handgun, I did 2 drawings in 2 different perspectives, one of them with the revolver thing outside the gun, you know what I mean. Next I just painted it and shaded it. I sort of already did the colors, I changed a bit of the colors and all, but it still looks mostly the same. I'm not 100% happy with this gun, but again, like, will I ever be? There are like so many different possibilities and so many different paths you can take when designing anything, and at least for me, I'm always wondering if I'm making the right choice, which can be stressful, and then I fall into perfectionism. And you know, something I found out is that sometimes the simplest option is the better one. You can make a million versions of the same gun and never be satisfied, but just do it because you can always redesign it later. You can see that with this particular character of mine, which I still don't know exactly what I want her design to be, but again, I don't need to right now. Well, in the next video, part 3, we are gonna redesign this sniper character and make a final illustration with her and her gun. I may talk more about her in the video, and hopefully that video doesn't take me 6 months.